Oh gosh, hello. Hello everyone. Oh my goodness. Hi Rahel. Hi Tony. How are you both doing? I hope you're both doing well. Yeah. I need to learn to talk better. And to enunciate. Enunciate. Yuck. I barely move my mouth when speaking, and I often speak from the back of my throat. Which I don't know why I do that. I think it's just... I have no idea, actually. I think it's... Do you know when you're ill? And, like, you're feeling a bit bunged up and stuff, and you often end up, like, speaking from the back of your throat. I think it's because, like, I have hay fever and no immune system. I just kind of got used to talking like that. Oh, there we go. There we go. So I'm brushing my hair at the same time. I already brushed it today. It just feels like it needs brushing again. Hello, iOS. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Oh, gosh. I just realised I forgot. I'll have to BRB. I forgot to change the water for the brushes. There we go. Hello, everybody again. I'm alive. Oh, no, why did it turn me into a cat? No, no. Oh, I was still a cat from last time, and I had to like go through this message of re-getting my model out and stuff. Oh, you're so mean to me, iOS. So mean. Oh, there we go. I've got this on now. I got glove. Gonna get another glove on. Oh gosh, I got 3 gloves out, not 2 of them. Next week is gonna be a very paint heavy week. I'm hoping that like within next week we'll be able to get this model finished. Firework. Firework! That's a members command, I believe. I'm sorry. It's a bit less exciting than I thought it would be. So I'm still debating whether just changing that to just anyone can do it. Because I thought that it'd be like actually firing fireworks. Where are we? Oh, that's the wrong one. There you go. There we go. Oh my gosh, look, I made the camera higher. It now cuts off more of my screen. You've now started a firework heresy. Enjoy your new heresy. No! My glasses are a bit messy right now. Look at that. Is that paint? Yes, but it's just like a globule of paint. Oh gosh. But yeah, I've raised my camera a lot higher. I had to mess about with the settings because the light is a lot higher up here. Like it's all the way up here. It used to be like here, this height is where I usually keep the camera, so it doesn't block the screen. See what I'm working with. 17,000 sprinkles, good. No! But it's tall enough now where I can do this. You can see the front of it. And it's a blurry image. If I click that top button, oh, you can see the front and it's not blurry anymore. As you can see, I've been doing a lot of work since last stream. If you're on Discord, you might have seen I posted images of how much work I got done last night. I've just basically been trying to get like all the base colours done. So like, so yesterday on stream what we did is we painted these things. With Wraithbone, well, we did a very heavy dry brush over with, no, not Wraithbone, Ushabti. Bone. Is it called Ushabti Bone? Yeah, Ushabti Bone, this one. Ushabti. I have no idea how it's meant to be pronounced. Then we dry brushed the actually no, then we painted these parts grey, all the parts that I want to be metallic, like silvery metal or iron. And then we dry brushed the entire thing with Wraithbone. And that's about all we got done. But since then, I've been painting like certain areas where I want it blue. And I'm kind of debating whether I want to like go over some of these panels in different colours, but I don't think so. I like the rivets and stuff. I've painted this part with ultramarines blue, and honestly, it's a different colour to what I expected. Maybe it needs a second layer of it. It's a contrast paint, so maybe it's not meant to go on this yellowish, sandy colour. But still, it's a different shade to what I expected. I put Storm Fiend contrast on for barrel, and I think for the other night parts, I'm going to do the same thing. Wherever it's currently yellowish browny colour, that's going to be bronze or gold colours. But like this part here, I'm thinking the flat surface is going to be the same Storm Fiend contrast. And these edges and this round part and there, and the same goes for this one. The flat part's going to be Storm Fiend, and these edges and round parts going to be bronze goldy colour. Hi Blade Wind! Contrast is usually meant to go on grey or white if you're doing contrast paint as a base coat. It's how I'm painting my salamanders. Yeah, I'm thinking that. I mean, this Talasaur blue went on really well onto some of the contrast paints have gone really well onto, you know, this base coat. Like, this is just Talasaur blue contrast, and it just looks really nice, I think. And similarly, I did the same with this. Like, the red contrast went on really well. The Nastrag yellow goes on quite well. Although, I mean, it is going to yellow, so you'd expect it. But orange colour didn't go too well on. But a second coat of it just made it look really nice. All it took was 2 coats. And for brown, obviously brown onto yellow would look good anyway. But yeah, this is Talasaur blue onto a metal background. Well, grey and metal. Oh, that's Talasaur blue onto the... But yeah, here it's onto the same sort of undercoat that this had. Everywhere else. So it looks fine. I don't think it looks bad personally. It just gives the blue a weathered look. Yeah, and I need to add like battle damage to it because we clearly like just cut this apart. I think maybe a second, and once I get some Calgar blue on it, it should help. I'm probably going to highlight most of these things with like Calgar blue. Because while you can see that the dry brushing we did have some effect in giving it a more layered effect. So like some parts that are light to some parts that are darker. I don't think it's quite good enough yet. So I'm going to go over it again. I might do a second layer of the Talasaur blue. Because I find a single layer gives it kind of a metallic sheen, you know? Almost metallic. While a second layer will give it a more painted effect. This one, I just did an apothecary white onto that skull. And honestly, it looks surprisingly okay. And that's another contrast paint. So... Oh yeah, I tried getting this yellow here looking good. I used this Bad Moon yellow and it didn't look good at all. So I went over it with this Uriel yellow and it still didn't look good. I did add a bit of a wash to it afterwards. And honestly, it looked good. It looked proper orky with a wash on it. But I just wanted to test out, like, trying to get a good yellow paint, because it's like, you know, yellow should work onto this base coat quite well. So I've just added a second Uriel yellow to it, and it's starting to look okay. I imagine they stole this from for Bad Moons. So I'm gonna try making it look more yellow. And then I'm gonna get a very watered down aggressive shade and put it into the gaps and stuff to try and make it look a bit then more orky again. What I'm going to do is I think I'm gonna paint the entire model like in its base colours, and then each piece how it should look like if it was by itself. And then I'm gonna try adding even more weathering to it, and then like just throwing paint onto it, like imagining orcs have like half-heartedly painted the thing or just thrown paint at it. Because one of the things at the moment I don't like about it is that there's still a lot of base colouring to do. Like we need to get their clothing and their skin done. This needs to be brown. These things need to go on. All the areas that want to be black need to be painted black, and but with how it looks now, it kind of I'm kind of regretting doing this beige. Oh yeah, I did do one thing. I used a watered down of shade onto the side of this just to see how it would look, and I really like the effect actually. I was questioning how good it would actually look, but I like it. But I think like the contrast between the darker colours and the blues and stuff and the beige of the main vehicle kind of ruins the... It doesn't look that great, if I'm entirely honest. I feel like I should have gone for like a darker green colour of a base. But I think if I just throw a bunch of blue paint onto it, like as a last effect to it, it should look better. Oh yeah, the big old shuffle on the front, I'm going to paint black. Or do like very dark grey. That's going to be mostly black. I might go back over and paint some of the wires, but I'm not sure. Same with this, it's going to be mostly black, except the tip of the rockets will be red. Then the rest of the rocket will be blue. Then this part will be black except for wires, which will be red. And then maybe I'll do some bronzy colours on some of those plating parts. This, I'm going to do like a mixture of bronze and silvery colours. Same with this piece. Probably going to paint that strap blue, but I'll leave it until after the entire thing there is painted, because otherwise I'm just going to go and mess it up. But that's going to be red. Oh yeah, the reason I'm going for like Storm Fiend up here, Ultramarine for here, and then Talisaur Blue here is Talisaur Blue is like the colour that the orcs actually will paint themselves. Storm Fiend is the colour that the night parts originally were. Hence one of the reasons the orcs decided to steal it, because it's like, it's blue, that means it must belong to me. And then the Ultramarine Blue is because they stole it from Ultramarines or some related chapter. I don't know where the Ultramarines came from, because the Ultramarines aren't anywhere near here, but still, he has like an Ultramarine thing. So it's like, you know, there must have been some Ultramarines that got around here. I'm thinking about having like a small portal that opened up, connecting this part of the galaxy where my orcs and my Black Templars and everything else is, to the Ultramar Sectum, like between the Ultramar Sectum and Tau Space. And maybe the Ultramarines of the Tau both sent expeditionary fleets there, or do you know, an expeditionary scouting force into this portal before it closed behind them. And for Ultramarines, you know, they didn't survive very long. Like, it was only a very small scouting force, and the orcs looted all the stuff. And the town, for the hand, they sent a larger scouting force. And that's just because I want to eventually get some Tau models beyond just my Thespid Stingwings. Where are they? I say my Thespid Stingwings, I got one. I'm still debating whether finishing building them or just using them for trophy parts and like on people's bases. So yeah. It's a very daunting task painting this model. Very daunting indeed. Oh yeah, I'm thinking that's going to be blue, Talasaur blue. I think we'll get the blues done. We'll get the blues done. We'll get this Storm Fiend done, and then we'll get that Talasaur blue done. Hi Douglas, how you doing? You're forever gonna be human this stream. You're never gonna be human this stream. No, I'm a banana now. No. How are you doing, Douglas? We're looking at painting this guy. Oh gosh, that's bright. That's bright. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh gosh, yeah, I'm thinking this panel at the back. I'm gonna do that one Talasaur, Talasaur blue too. And I think this bag as well should be Talasaur blue. I effectively need to have like as much excuses to make stuff blue as possible. Because there's just not enough blue on this thing. For this guy, I think it was fine. There's not actually that much blue on him. He has blue pants, a blue glove, blue shoulder pad, blue there. But it's because it's like much of where you can see him, you're mostly going to be either seeing his skin or the blue. And if it's not that, it's usually going to be these black areas that don't catch the eye. And I think as a result, it works quite well with him. Yeah, I've already got the orange of this, but that's like the only other non-eye catching part. I'm okay. How are you? I'm doing okay as well. Oh yeah, I've only got these pieces. I need to remember about these. These are... This part's going to be blue. This part's going to be blue. This parts are going to be blue. That's going to be bronzy coloured. This back bit's going to be bronzy coloured. That's going to be red. The little lightning is going to be yellow. And I'm not sure about this part. I'm thinking about doing orange glow on it, but I'm not sure. Maybe a green glow would be good. Actually, maybe a blue one, like a cyany colour one, should be good on this. Hello, Sad Cubs fan. How are you doing? Your first video got 25,000 views, lol. I'm glad for you. But yeah, we're gonna do something like that for this. This thing, I have no idea how I'm gonna paint. When even trying to paint, it'll be hard until it's on the model again. But it keeps breaking off, so I'm thinking I might just paint the entire model, stick this back on, and then paint this thing. So, iron colours. I hate it when you're painting models and you notice, you know, little bits of sprue that you didn't cut off originally. Like there's a little bit there, there's a little bit there. Hi TA, how you doing? Oops. So yeah, this is pretty cool. So I'm hoping we can get lots of stuff done today. I mean, if I just keep talking about how I'm going to paint it, I'm hoping it just paints itself, you know? No, we have to actually paint this. Look at all the pigment at the bottom. It's still there. Oh no. It's gone! Yay! That's because I've shaken it up a few times. Talasaur blue, that's not the one I want. It's Storm Fiend blue. There we go. Look at all the pigment at the bottom. And just give it a shake like this. Oh, it's made a little bit of a dent. We go. If I just move my hand quicker than what the frame rate can keep up with. 60 frames per second. Well, thankfully I can move my hand at a rate of 120 per second. Yeah. There we go. Look at that. So that's a Storm Fiend contrast. Oh, look at it. Look. It's gonna end up like that in the end. So what we do is we turn this to its side very, very carefully. Don't get the gloves caught in the saws and stuff. More of a neutral force, really. What's this? What's a neutral force? There we go. And then we'll use this brush. No, that's not the brush I want to use. That one's my good brush. This one's still a good brush. No, this one's a very good brush. Okay, this is a good brush, but it's a bit old. So... Oh, you're more of a mutual force. Sorry, I misread that. You're neutral. No, you're not allowed to be neutral. You have to be on my side. You can't join for heresies. You can't join for heresies. You have to fight against them, TA. Because, you know, prove your loyalty to me. Oh, look at this thing. We go. Mr. Sandman, give me a dream. It's like the best that you've ever seen. Mr. Sandman, give me a dream. I don't know why I've always got that song stuck in my head. I've only heard it like 2 or 3 times before. There we go. Yeah, this is why I'm going to do the gold second. Because I knew I was going to get puff all over the parts that I want gold. Microphone, get over here. We're doing a minor amount of major heresy in chat. No heresy in chat. Hi, Anthony, by the way. I got cola. Don't have any water. Oh. Like the shop that stocks my water hasn't had any stock of it for a while. And my father bought me like some other one. And it's like full of artificial sweeteners that I can't have. Because, you know, they make my tummy really bad. You were summoned. No, you weren't for fireworks heresy. Anthony, you can't join for heresy because you're a member. And you have access to fireworks. iOS is doing a heresy because he has doesn't have access to fireworks. Well, they're not even proper fire. Have you seen what it's like, iOS? Anthony, show him what a firework looks like. It's terrible. I don't think even I have access to fireworks. You have to be a member, and I'm not. Because I can't be a member of my own channel. Yeah, all it does is make you fly into the air and explode. Is that what you want to do? Is that what you want to do, iOS? Just go up into the air and explode. Okay, I'm gonna have to have like one hand here. Okay, no, we'll do this. We'll put this here. Need to put this here. Keep this open. Doesn't want to stay open. It's one of those ones. Remember your roots, Anthony. Remember all the heresy we've done. I wonder what would happen if I put a second coat onto this thing. What would it look like? There's definitely some areas that aren't properly painted under here. I can see them. Anthony, since you know knights, is there any knight faction that uses like Storm Fiend as one of the major colours? I am the next stage of heresy. I am ascended over your meager heresy mulings to a higher plane of heresy. Oh god. You stinky. Hi, Bopper Innkeeper. Don't call me stinky. I'm not stinky. Why are you so mean? Rah! Rah! I am painting. What is this about knight's colour? Is there any knight that has like Storm Fiend colour like this and then uses like bronze as well alongside it? Because I'm thinking the reason they stole the knight parts is because they're already blue. They're like, it's blue. That means it must belong to us. We're deaf schools. We're blue. I mean, it's less why they stole it, and more just like another reason, an excuse to steal. Not that orcs really need one. But you know, if you're going to be painting something blue, you got to be... Except that that means it belongs to the orcs. Or at least that's what orcs think. The deaf schools in particular. She must be a worm. I'm not a worm. I'll never be a worm. Oh, Mr. Sandman, give me a dream. Make it the best that you've ever seen. Oh, Mr. Sandman, give me a dream. Is anyone else having a lag problem? Yeah, it's an important question. Is anyone suffering from lag? YouTube says my stream is fine, and so does OBS. So I don't think it's on my side. But if others are also suffering a lag problem, that would be good for me to know, even if I can't do anything about it.
Your hair at a second horn.
Your hair? Second horn? What? Oh, you did a detect evil. I wasn't looking at the screen properly then, sorry. The Major Knight's house is Tyrion. Major Blue Knight house, sorry, is Tyrion. Which is the one you see on the leader of the Imperial Knights of the dreaded websites. Also Castellan and Hellophanes. Oh. Did someone say website? Oh my goodness. Website. Website. Wait a minute, I've just got notifications. Website, 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 website. Oh my goodness, website. Oh. Oh. White screen. Warhammer 40k. Armies of Imperium. Imperial Knight. So that's like this guy. He's blue. Is that a Storm Fiend blue, do you think? Maybe. Looks a bit more like Ultramarines and Palisar. Well, Storm Fiend could work with it. Any Heresy Era ones? Oh yeah, Heresy would be a good one. Because the Knights are probably from the Heresy Era. It's not too important. I was just more interested because I doubt I'll be wanting to use any transfers or whatever on this. I imagine for orcs would have ripped away any iconography that they would have liked. Which is probably most iconography. Oh gosh, that was way too much blue then. I imagine whatever shade of blue it's usually meant to be after thousands of years, the blue might have gotten worn or darkened. Oh, Mr. Sandman, give me a blue. Make it the bluest that you've ever seen. Bluey! I've watched one episode of Bluey, the first episode, and I was like, it's okay. I don't get what everyone's, raving on about it for. I mean, for a little kids show, it's pretty decent. It's one of those kids shows that as an adult you don't mind as much being put on. Or maybe it gets better later on. Because you hear about people who watch Bluey without even having kids. Or without their kids. Oh gosh, I accidentally painted over the bronze area then completely. I'm a very messy painter, but it's fine as long as I just keep correcting myself. Or I accidentally put the wrong colours. Okay, I think that's all of the places I want Stormfiend now. Knights of the Heresy casually betraying an Imperator Titan. Weren't the Imperator Titans that were like on the Heresy side? Pretty sure there was. The Ultramarines, yes it is. I want to see what another coat of Ultramarines will look like on this. See if it will look nicer. There were, yeah. I'm back to normal. Ha 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 ha. Oh my gosh, it's such a big model. I think this might be, other than for Fellhammer, the biggest model we've ever built on stream. Like, I'm not even sure the Knights compare to its size that well. But for more on the, I think when it comes to all things, we're more on the loyalist side ultimately. Like, the only loyalist chapter, or legion, sorry, that had a major heresy within it, like super major, was the Dark Angels. With like half of the legion turning. While amongst the traitor legions, it was quite common for like over half of them to, you know, be on the remained loyal. They might have not survived very long as they immediately had their brothers turn on them. Often without knowing there was even a heresy going on until they're already being virus bombed. And even with Istefan 5, and then with the, as well, what else happened? Oh yeah, for Ultramarines and for Imperial Fist were two of the biggest legions when the heresy started, which didn't help things, you know, for everybody. What about the Titan? Oh yeah, the Titan is definitely a bit bigger than this. I forgot about the Titan. I just realised I forgot to bring up my chat to my phone. I was looking down at my phone. I'm like, where's chat? Where's chat? There we go. Chat is open on the phone. Account, hello. You had to just come and check. What is it? What is it? It's a... We're referring the early process of painting it, so it's a bit of a mess right now. But it's my... Well, it's meant to be a battle wagon. Originally was intended to be a battle wagon. But, you know, it kind of ended up being a bit too big. Which, to be fair, I've never had a battle wagon before, so I don't know how big it was meant to be. I just went by how expensive it is on the Warhammer website. And for a couple of bits, I also found like some numbers and stuff online, but it turned out those numbers aren't very accurate. There we go. See, it has some sap. I added some sap cannons later on, so that it would be, well, not technically sap cannons, but they can be used. It can be used as a battle fortress. Is it an orc thing? Yeah, it's an orc thing. It's got like goblins on it. Like little grots there and there and there and there. The colour scheme we're going for is this sort of thing, as we're going for death skulls. Wait a minute. Let me get that red glove out of the way. Yeah, we're going for this sort of colour scheme, so it should look something alongside like him in the end. That's looted from the Eldar, hence why it's a completely different colour scheme. Hello, Tail! If it's orcs, loads are cool. Weather effects and stuff easy do, and will look great. Yeah! I'm thinking about adding some more Weathering and dirt to him, but I'm not sure. I kind of like the more cartoonish look that orcs used to have back in the olden days. The olden days. Actually, no. Orcs originally weren't even that cartoonish. They then became more cartoonish looking as time went on. And then they were kind of going back to being less cartoonish. I kind of do like the bright colours that you sometimes see orcs be, rather than the more gritty, realistic colours. There we go. Now, the reason I'm going for different shades of blue is this is meant to be looted from the Ultramarines, that panel. This is looted from some knights. Well, these are what the orcs painted themselves. And that's looted from a Bad Moon clan. Is it Bad Moon? That's what they call them, the yellow guys. Me Priest has an orc army. They're not. Yeah, orcs are really fun. They used to be my main army. I went from Tyranids to orcs to Templar and Guardsmen to Dark Eldar when I was a kid. And the orcs were probably my longest running and one of my largest armies that I had. And it's just so fun because you can kit bash and convert so much, which is really good when you're a kid with limited funds. And like old toys and stuff. But, oh yeah, the main reason, the thing about going here is these are stolen from some planetary defense force, and I'm testing out, because I've not painted any guardsmen recently. I'm testing out doing like a very beige and brown colours for the planetary defense force. And that's like how it probably will look in the end, with a bit more gold and stuff. So yeah. The main bodies of the chimeras will be this sort of colour. And then I'll throw some blue paint on to just make it look like the orcs. I've painted it afterwards. Have you heard of an orc clan that believed they are ultramarines and their war boss thinks it's the Bootay Gulliman? I've heard of like the orcs of the Imperium. Hi Talan, how are you doing? Are we winning? Kind of. Kind of. We're slowly basing all of the colours that we need. That's looking a bit more ultramarine. It's a bit dark for ultramarines, but it's fine. We can get some McCrag blue on this and then highlight with Caligor blue. I want to get that to be a smooth yellow, just because I want to test out trying to get smooth yellows. Like, because I am going to be painting some yellow onto my Black Templar. It was on Reddit years ago. It was so funny. Oh. Hi Clemoniac, how you doing? Making the Astartes art. We aren't making the Astartes arts. I've seen various people make like Imperial arts. Like there's one person who's been making lots of arts, and he's making like one arc for each chapter of Space Marines. That's like pretending to be the Space Marines. Okay, hard to tell with this one if all the pigment's out from the bottom. Okay, be very careful to keep a nice but not too tight grip on it. But yeah, it's these sort of extremely watery paints that are very nice to use. But if you get a spillage, it's pretty bad. Oh gosh, that's a bit too much. Still getting used to these contrast paints. I'm just trying to get a smooth yellow, but I don't want to go too many thick layers. And contrasts help avoid being too thick on your layers. Just done a look through Heresy of the Night Houses. Unfortunately, only blue pattern is Tyrian again. And really haven't changed much. The Craston Tyrians are all Mechanicus red now. Oh. So, okay, that's good. At least it makes sense for blue knights to be around. There we go. It's still not smooth. It's getting a bit smoother. It's looking nicer. It's fine for the orcs. It was fine when I first did it. It's just... I'm testing out trying to get a nice yellow. Are the cupcakes low vessel? Oh, they did the same thing again. I'm sorry. Yeah, this happened before where they decreased in size the other day. I'm not sure about how to fix it without reloading everything. I think I'm gonna have to close it and reload it. I apologize. She's taxing our cup pixels. Okay, connect. Okay, that's a larger size, isn't it? Currently for only one. It might take a little while before it... People start chat. Oh, there you go. You're all appearing now. Good, good, good. Is the amount of stuff we expect us. So I've been having lots of tech issues. I think a bunch of it's... Honestly, I'm not sure where some of it comes from. Like, I think some of it definitely comes from YouTube updates and, you know, Stream Avatars is struggling with it. Well, I think some of it comes from recent Microsoft updates, which have just been hellish. At first, it's not, you don't really notice them until you start doing certain things and you're like, yeah, this isn't how it's meant to work. It's like, yeah, why is everything suddenly using way more, what's it called, RAM and CPU usage than before? Oh, it's because Microsoft has decided. Do you know all those things where I said I don't want AI here, here, and I closed the programs and stopped them from opening? Yeah, it just reset them all and forced them all. Like, yay! Thank you, Microsoft. I hate you. And I'm now looking at different operating systems that are less likely to use that sort of stuff. Oh gosh, my cat's meowing a lot if you can hear her. But yeah, okay, what do I want to do? I wanted to do this panel, that was it. Control and install Linux and stream in Chinese. No! I'm going to install a street. Actually, no, any sort of thing I get, like different operating system, would likely be Linux based, just because most operating systems are, even Android. But I definitely want to get a system that, you know, I don't have to code for constantly and supports lots of different things. So this is also one of the reasons why I'm thinking if Steam does release an operating system or whatever, and it's decent and like supports most games, I might actually get it because it just makes more sense. As long as it also still supports my writing and my art softwares. Under every operating system, there's always some sort of Linux. Possibly. And the only reason to really use Windows at the moment is just because it's widely supported. More widely supported than Mac. And generally has less issues of its own than Mac does. And it's much cheaper. It's like every single time they do updates are just giving me more reasons to not want to use them anymore. But adding stuff I don't want. Often things that, like that time when for months I couldn't figure out why I couldn't use my model without it completely breaking everything, and it just turns out there was a little button I needed to press because Windows did an update. And it was meant to make gaming better, and instead it just broke every single game. And if I just press that button, turn it off, all my problems disappeared. Just annoying how often that sort of stuff goes on now. And a lot of people, you wouldn't notice that sort of stuff. Because you don't often want to run multiple different software programs like I do. But as extensive and as fragile as mine. Like I've had to lament before when I start getting tech issues across my programs how long it can take to fix it all. Or just take startup. Because I have to start each program in a specific order and wait between them so that they load without breaking. And even then, sometimes the loads, I have to restart the program again. It just means that when they're that fragile, when Windows does silly stuff, it breaks them. Which some of the stuff, fair enough. It's more of the program's fault, but other times it's just... Hello, Dr. Smilex. How you doing? Oh, turning me into a cupcake. Not good. Not good. Yeah, but every single operating system... Oh, no. That's the thing. It's like sometimes... Yeah, but it's a program, so it's not actually Windows. But a lot of the time, it's like, yeah, Windows introduced a problem. Most people won't see that problem, or it won't affect them to such a degree where it's like seriously noticeable. Or it's like they just think there's just a little bit of, you know, something instead. But then for others, it's a much more noticeable problem. Like, so thingy, I don't know why YouTube always just holds thingies. It's like, how did YouTube? Actually, I'm thinking, you know, where everyone like YouTube is relying more heavily on AI. Are they imagining that AI seeing all those hand-holding memes? And it's like, no, hand-holding, that's bad. Fingies. Fingers, hands, that must be super bad. That's something we had to censor.
Install Cupcakes, the best Chinese operating system that stole Conjuror's IP.
No! I'm gonna sue them in China. No one can be cupcakes but me. That might turn to odd people talking about. Oh, I can sue them in China. The Chinese courts love me. Sorry. I like just YouTube. Oh, make. You're my good vehicle. Good vehicle. Oh wait, it's got a big face on the front. Do you know what's that program called? Knight Rider. Oh, we need to paint it in Knight Rider colours, and then it'll be like, this will be Kit. I think it's called the car. The biggest battle cannon. A silly thing we say almost every stream. You can, but the Chinese court is going to make you do a ninja warrior course above a pit of ketamine crocodiles. I mean, that's just how what I have to deal with to get breakfast in the morning to land. My parents were really determined to make me an athlete. So they just put loads of obstacles outside my room. This is also why I don't like to go out much. Because I'm like, oh, I have to deal with the entire obstacle course and all the crocodiles and if the crocodiles aren't fed properly, they blame me. And it's like, I'm not the one who put the crocodiles there. I don't, my parents do. It's terrible. Not fun. Sorry, you know, it's a big toy. I can't help but play with it. So I just need to do like a distraction from painting so I don't have to paint. Okay, what we got? We got that blue done. These blues done. Okay, so I want to get gold colours over here. That's fine. And actually, I do want to get that painted silvery colours down there. I think painting this black might be better first. And then when I'm doing that, I can do that. And paint his mask black. His glasses black. What else wants to be black here? Oh yeah, this entire shuffle I wanted to do black. So I can do that. Shovel is the wrong word, isn't it? What do they call it? Really Cupcon, the tank can't fly, but it could if orcs believe it can. No, if it was flying, it would be going swoosh. If it's driving, it goes meow, meow, meow. I mean, it might be driving on air, but driving on air is different from flying, you know? Oh no, it crashed. Tanan, stop talking about ketamine and stuff like that. It's not good. It's not good. YouTube will bonk me. Okay. Are there any other parts where I wanted to paint it like black? I don't think so. I was thinking about originally doing this in blacks, but... Hello! Francois Marion.
1984.
1984. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about 1984. It's been a long time since we've had that joke on the channel. Yeah, give them bath salts. Like bath bombs. Everyone loves bath bombs. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing these things like mostly blue, bronze, and silvers rather than black. Yeah, I don't think there's many parts. Oh, I wanted to do actually this bit. The main like round part is going to be red. The other part's going to be black. That's what it's going to do. So is that it? He's not wearing any shoes. Oh, he's wearing shoes. His shoes can be black too. Oh wait, I wanted to do that. Parasol blue up the back. We'll get that done then. Okay, we'll put this down carefully for now. Sleepy croc. Oh. There we go. Speed racer. Go, go, speed racer. Oh, and I've got to do the guns blue up here. I'll put them on when I'm going to paint them blue. Just so that's something to hold them. I didn't get any paint under this. So I can't really show it on stream because I have to paint it at a weird angle. Such a large model, I have to hold it from different angles. I would put it upside down on the mat, but it's just going to break stuff if I have its entire weight on its back. So what we're doing, for those who weren't aware, we're just doing all of the base colours for now. I say base colours technically because we've already dried brushed it and we're mostly using contrast. It's not really for base. But for now I'm just getting like the block colours on before doing details and neatening things up. Trying to be as neat as I can be within reason, where it's not going to slow me down massively. I don't want to be spending 10 minutes on each piece. And arcs themselves aren't the neatest, so... For the way that they paint checker patterns, you'd think they're super neat. I've never been a fan of, checker patterns and hazard stripes for on models. Like on army models. Just don't like it. Don't think it looks that nice. Maybe it's just because I don't want to bother painting it though. I just learn to not like it. Okay, there we go, it's painted. So what is this abomination of a machine spirit that you've made? Obviously not a standard template struct. Oh, it's a battle fortress slash bat. It was meant to be a battle wagon, but I'd never owned a battle wagon, so I just found stats online for like its size, and they might have been very off because this is the size it ended up being, and it's a bit too big for a battle wagon, it turns out. So it's also a battle fortress. But in friendly games, I'm pretty sure people would let me play it as a battle wagon. Because it's hard to fit a battle fortress into 1,000 points, and honestly, its legend rules kind of suck. Some good scrap. Yeah, it is. It's looted from some guardsman that uses sort of beige colour scheme here for their vehicles, and then like this thing where it's yellow, it's generally going to be bronze or gold. Where it's grey, it's generally going to be metallic colour. I undercoated it in like sandy dust, I think it's called. So, oh yeah, that's it. I wanted to put the guns in and paint them. Yeah, I've got some sap cannons here. Technically they're not sap cannons, they're more tractor cannons than the big mech guns, but I think they look like a good tractor cannons. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, it does turn out it's got 5 big shooters on, which wasn't for plan. It was meant to be planned for 4 big shooters, but then I realised this shield here had a hole for, you know, a shooter, a heavy stubber. So yeah, it ended up having 5 big shooters. It's like exactly how much a battle fortress has. And then later I added on these things when people were telling me it's too big to be a battle wagon. But yeah, unholy monstrosity. Is this thing. I like the little thing on the front with all the saws on. But yeah, there's 1 big shooter, a 2nd big shooter, a 3rd big shooter, a 4th big shooter, a 5th big shooter. Yeah. I mean, these are meant to be lobbers, but can also just work as rocket launchers on the battle fortress. It's like, oh. Pretty good. Pretty nice. And this is the colour scheme we're going for in the end. Which, I'm actually kind of proud of this guy. I was testing out a different number of ways of how to paint different parts of him. And I painted him rather quickly, so I'm kind of proud of how he turned out, although this glow, when you look at it on the bottom, is absolutely terrible. I turned my Disco Lord on Hellstalker into a War Dog Carnivore, who was just wired onto the machine, and it's also an apothecary of my Alpha Legion. Oh, his name is Gary Gengil. Something of a G. I think Gary Gengil is a good name. Gary Gengil. Gary Gengilson. Grandest. Grand Apothecary Gary Gengilson. Who wouldn't love that name? So what we're doing? Okay. Oh yeah, I was going to do the blue here. Forgot about that. I can't believe I spilt my Talasaur blue everywhere. I thought I'd cleaned it out of my carpet, but just today I was looking at it, I was like, oh gosh, the blue's really come out again. I might have to get some carpet cleaner on it. Okay, I keep forgetting what I was meant to be painting, and it's this piece here. Nastrag Yellow is a really good base for like getting metallic, bronzy, goldy colours. Head pat. Thanks for the head pats. Every head pat I get makes my brain bigger. Although the bigger my brain gets, the less room for cola I have in it. Yeah. Or maybe it just means I got more storage room for cola, like it can absorb more cola. Oh, perfect. Gary Glenn Gilson, he's a funny man. Gary Glenn Gilson, he'll stab you if he can. Gary Glenn Gilson is a silly, silly man. But he loves to be silly, so he does what he does. He's an apothecary wired to a war dog. He's a silly, silly man, it's true. He does what he wants, and he does what he do. Do, 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 do. Oh my gosh, I turned Chibi! She needs more space. I need more space! I like how the head pat followed me into Chibi mode. There we go. Big brain. Big head, big brain. You're correct. You're correct. And the bigger the brain, the more excuses are. Although you never need a better excuse than dyslexia. Down, 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 down. Did you know that I've got a little man down here? He's called... What would we name each Gretchen on this thing? Like, does each Gretchen need a name? Do we need to put like a little signpost next to each grot and be like, okay, this grot's called Joe. This grot's called Joe second. This is Joe for third. And this fat grot here, that's Joe
Dyslexic devil worshippers sell their souls to Santa.
Devil worshippers sell the soul to Santa. They do sell the soul to Santa. Because Santa's an evil, evil being. Stole the holiday from the rightful owner of Christmas, and that is Joe Mama. Joe Mama, she owns Christmas. Do, 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 do. Actually, no, Santa stole the holiday from Scrooge McDuck, who made a living delivering coal to people in the winter holidays, where it's really cold and people need coal to stay warm. Santa's a terrible, terrible man. Support Scrooge McDuck. Who's voiced by David Tennant. Or was voiced by David Tennant. If you're confused about what I'm talking about the 2017 reboot of DuckTales, which is absolutely amazing. You should watch it. You're going to put Santa in a demon engine. Do it. Do it. Actually, did you know Santa is both canonical in Marvel Universe and in the DC Universe? And in the DC Universe, he always delivers a piece of code to Darkseid. And Darkseid like does everything he can to try and stop him, but every single time Santa overwhelms the defenses of Apocalypse, like the entire planet of Apocalypse. You know, the one that's scared to war. Yeah, Santa just like ignores them all. Manage to get through them all and then deliver a nice little piece of coal to Darkseid because he's a big old bad guy. He also delivered a present to Doctor Doom for being a good boy in Marvel.
So, looks like the head pat broke. It's wearing a hole in your head at this point.
I know, just give me a moment. So when I'm on Handcam streams, I'm having to hold the brush in my mouth. Give me a moment. There we go. There we go. There we go. Done it. Yeah, the head pats break very often. I'm not sure why. I think it's when I get a head pat and then before it finishes, I get toggled into something else, like another farm. Maybe I should lock it so that that doesn't happen. Mr. Sandman. Why have I got that song stuck in my head? I don't even know the tune properly, so I can never sing it fully. Do, 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 do. Bow, meow, meow, meow. Note to self, do not Bossin in the middle of her head unless you want to give Cupcake head pats for all. Ignore previous comments. We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers. We. Well, that's a mean thing to say. No time for losers. I think if you're saying stuff like that, then you are the loser. Because I just keep winning, I do. Down. There we go. Mama just killed a man. Put a gun to his head. Bang, and now he's dead. Mama. Do 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 do. Galileo, Galileo. Do 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 do. I love that song. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. There we go.
Watched a game of BFG last night.
Ooh.
Adepticon tournament winners. Chaos v Necrons. Abby was as armless as ever and won on technicality.
That's all he ever does. Winning on technicality. What was the technicality that allowed him to win? And so technically you lost all your ship and all your fleet. But there is a rule that says Abaddon always wins. So you win. Imagine if that was a rule. That is the kind of rule that Games Workshop would add in. Like, originally, if you go back far enough. I could very much believe that they'll add in a silly rule like that. Where, like, Chaos gets 200 extra victory points as long as Abaddon was on the field at the start of the game. Because it's all just part of a plan. We don't call him Aguden. That just makes him sound cheesy, you know. Aguden. Gouda. Yeah, best cheese, because it's filled with so many puns. There we go. The guns are blue. Actually, just with the guns being blue there and that little panel of the back, it makes this look a lot, you know, better. You're gonna go now. Bye, Dr. Smilex. I hope you have a good rest of your day and that you sleep well. Remember to dream of cupcakes, but don't eat the cupcakes as a friends, not food. He lost all his ships bar one. And then the Necron player teleported out, holding the field, gives you victory points for every Hulk still on the board. Three Chaos Hulks are still on the board. That was like 1,100 victory points to 1,150. 1,050. Oh. Wait, why did the Necron player teleport out then? Did they just like misjudge how many victory points it would be and they like added it up wrong? It feels like a really weird thing to do in a tournament. Doo-doo. Okay. Okay. What do I want to do next? I wanted to do the black. Actually, no, let's go for brown on this one. I don't find black contrast to be as easy to use as for other contrasts. Like, I feel like I'm more likely to go mess of things, as it were. But, oh yeah, I found out the Gorgunter fur contrast is pretty nice, as I used there. Necron ships are worth a lot of victory points if damaged or destroyed, way more than normal. Oh. Is this to make up for them like being too powerful or something? Is this a Gorgunter? No, that's Earthshade. That's Skeleton Hard. Is this it? Yeah, that is. So by teleporting out, you don't get the victory points for them being damaged. Is that it? Sorry about it being super bright over here. Put that there. That should help it. I've seen people using feathering techniques in the painting to add like a fur level. I'm not sure exactly how I would do that with, you know, GW paints. Know how I would do it on watercolors onto a absorbent surface, but working with plastic, it's very different. I'm guessing you'd have to use like a very thin brush and just go like with a acrylic paint, but like very thin layers. Long-lived war paints. I mean, when I say that, I mean like using acrylic paints, like even for your war paints and stuff, I like that. Yeah, Nocturne ships are powerful and ancient. The most you can get from there is 300% their value if you hold the field at the end of the game with them on the table. If you blow them up, they are worth 200%. Wait. How does... You say holding the field. How does that work? Like, if the Necrons held the field because they've got more ships than the enemy, is that how it works? But the enemy would still score points for all those damaged Necron ships. Have I just stopped? I was meant to do this wooden part here. I'm gonna see if I can purposely make it streaky. Because I think that would look good for wood. Nah, contrast paints is too difficult to do that with. But maybe... I think actually, yeah, if that works. No, it's gonna dry different. I think I definitely have to use a more solid paint. Acrylic. This is a question I've raised because the rules are unclear. I think it only meant to count for the enemy if a Necrons. The rules are unclear. I think it's only meant to count for the enemy if a Necrons. The way it is written in the rules seems to imply benefits to a Necron player. Oh. The enemy of a Necron, so... That seems unnecessarily confusing. Do I have a cyan colour? I need to remember they have a cyan colour. I think it'll be good for wires and stuff. And glowing effect. I don't want to make this model look too noisy. I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people, when they paint archy things, other than just to make it quicker, archy vehicles, is they paint like it all in one big colour. And then maybe they'll paint the rivers a different colour. And then they'll add like patterns onto it. So Battle Wagon made of... Hello, Jack Kirch! Made of, I can't tell, 4 or 5 Chimera slushies. It's 3 Chimera slushies. These 2 are put together. The front of this one has been... Actually, wait, let's look. We can see from the bottom. So this one is facing that direction. This one is facing that direction. And this one was originally had its top on backwards. The top of this one's been taken off and put up here, while this chimera at the bottom was snapped completely in half. Well, its tracks are taken off and put backwards. Its bottom was put up here. And then its front is, I think, underneath this bit. Like the top of it. To help hold the entire mechanisms together. Oh no, that front part here is with this chimera that was its tracks taken off. So yeah, it's 3 chimera chassis, 2 Death Dread arms, a bunch of Death Dread parts actually, a bunch of mech gun parts. These are spare parts of what purposely built them in a way to generate more spare parts. You can see Death Dready parts here and like Mega Knob parts as well. These are from mech guns. That's from an Imperial Knight, that's from an Imperial Knight, and that's from an Imperial Knight. I had a lot of spare parts because I just built the Knight Defender. Those are from Death Dreads. Death Dread. Death Dread. Big shooters. That's some for Arc Mega Knob War Boss. These are grots from the mech guns crews. And that's from the normal Arc Boys kit. Best Boo U7 and amazingly arcy. Thank you. And then there's just a bunch of plasticard. Oh, and that's from the terrain set that comes with like the starter sets and stuff. And that's from Mega Knobs. That's from the mech guns. That's some for mech guns. Oh, that's a part of an impulsor that comes with a gladiator kit. And then a lot of these arcy faces are from, if you buy the old world arc boys, their shields have a lot of these parts that can be stuck to them, so you'll have a lot of spare parts. And then that part is from the Photon, same with that part, the Photon Warriors. Death Dread exhaust at the back. Don't know what that bit's from, it's just in my bits box. I think that's on the artillery team. And that's some Imperial Knight, I believe. There's a lot of stuff. And yeah, the sprue is actually incredibly important on the bottom. Because it helps keep the entire thing connected. The chimeras used aren't new chimeras. For them when I was a kid, and I tried kit bashing some chimeras. And they looked more arcy than they did Imperial. Oh my gosh, what's happening out there? So, yeah. They weren't very well made, chimeras. Reminds me of an Ark land pirate ship. Oh, it's fireworks. We can hear what sounds like a raging fire outside. It's just fireworks. Must be a neighbor doing fireworks or something. I feel like someone's shooting a stone. Oh, there we go. We got that brown part done there. Oh yeah, I wanted to saw blue bag. I think I'll make his little pants brown. Are chimeras ever well made though? I know mine are a bit clumsy and only saved by... The paint job was terrible on them as well. Okay, I'm gonna have to close the windows. I can hardly hear myself think. RB. I'm also gonna get myself a drink. Pop, 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 pop. Hello! Sorry, I got a bit distracted there. Oh, wait, wrong one. There we go. Yee! One of them was of the first Chimera, the turret was at the rear. It will be forever remembered. If I get more Chimeras, I'll try to make one the exact same way. But this time good, where it won't be breaking itself every time I want to turn the turret. I've still not got any water, so I'm just drinking cola. Reminds me of the Orc landships on the old Black Crusade game. Ooh. Oh yeah, they were, to be fair to my old Chimeras, they were, I really loved the idea, and I still do, of, do you know, guardsmen that are very terribly supplied. So the entire idea was these vehicles were directly from the factories and repair shops. So they were painted just like bare metal and dirty, and they had damage in them, like had drilled holes into them to be like blasted parts. And they had like bits of scraps and nailed to the side. And I mean, for like, how old was I? Like 10 or 11 or something? I don't know. When I made those, they were pretty well done. But for like my modern stuff, they're like, yeah, they were really badly made. Really badly stuck together. Actually, no, I'm not going to paint for his stuff brown. Thinking the rags are just going to be like yellowy colour. But yeah, the first Chimeras are cool. I'll try to make another. Remind me. I don't have any Chimeras to get though, guys. I think I have 4 spare Chimeras still, and they're going to be... I'm going to repaint them this colour scheme. Probably not as dirtied, actually maybe as dirtied up as that. And I'm thinking about putting trait, do you know for trait to guard that you can get now? Thinking about getting them and then like just cutting off some bits of them to make them less chaosy and more imperial looking, and then they'll be... And I might file away all the imperial symbols on the Chimeras. And then there'll be like a planetary defense force that doesn't belong to the Imperium. But in my main army lists for like my Templar serfs, I've got for cavalry, which is like a mixture of actual horses and then elite infantry that's in transport vehicles, but they use a Taurox rather than the Chimera. And they use 2 Valkyries as well. And Valkyries, I mean, actually, Valkyries don't suck. I was looking at the Valkyrie stats to see how good they would be to add into my army. And I realised that Valkyries actually are pretty cool. I'm building a pair of Hellhounds right now, and I'm going to try and magnetise and hinge the Prometheum tank compartment. I've got the first one set up as a push fit essentially right now. Ooh. If I remember correctly on my old ones, I only ever had 1 plastic Hellhound. The other ones have the metal turrets on them. Because I think I got them from somebody else. Like who was giving up the guard. And my only plastic one though, if I remember correctly, it could just be taken apart and then like put together again. But for one issue I had with that, the turret snapped on it. So the other little prongs that go underneath it, they snapped off from all the times I took the turret off. I'm still kind of sad that you can't blow up weapons now and that turret moving doesn't exist. Kind of get why for gameplay mechanics. I think all in all it does make it fairer and more fun. But still, I do miss my blowing up turrets and stuff. Oh gosh, trying to paint this guy is difficult. I also got a few proxy models I've had my eye on. Catherine Somnifrema. Love that, man. I have no idea what that is, sorry. Oh yeah, the Hellhound plastic turret is messy. I think in general, the technology they're using now for like making models is a bit better. Like it's a bit more exact than it used to be. Because before you always had this issue, it's like, if you look at any old models, you're pretty much guaranteed to see a bunch of them. Like with gaps in them, or if they've had to cut bits down because ultimately it's just like the size of each piece, there's like a slight variation on them, and that used to be a much larger variation than it is now, where like the plastic warps and stuff are like change of shape, and it used to be really, really bad. I've not had the same issue, and from what I can see of like how exact a lot of bits are now, they must have like improved something somewhere, whether it be new machines or just new methods, maybe even new software. They do seem a lot better than before. I think that's also one of the reasons why old sprues had like such big gaps on them, because they effectively needed the gaps. Okay, for more on painting of a model, even though it's a mess. Does he have mushrooms on him? No, they're not mushrooms. I thought some of those bullets were mushrooms at first on him. Those two at the bottom there. But yeah, as I'm painting more of a model, it's starting to come together a little bit. Okay, what do I want to do next? Thinking maybe for black. Yeah. The tolerance of the injection modes has massively improved. You can tell just by the amount of detail. Yeah, that's it. Tolerance, that's a good word as well. I mean, for all the complaints, I think one of the cool things about Games Workshop is that despite how much you got price rises and stuff, and how expensive they are, they have improved a lot over time. And they're not as expensive as they could be. Like, I just remember looking at something where it's like, oh, I can see the exact price of what I paid for this in the past. And I was looking at it and going, okay, it cost me a tenner in the past to buy this. And this was years and years and years ago. And then I looked at the modern price. I'm like, okay, so there was a massive price hike of plastics, a massive oil price hike. You know, the entire pandemic, and a few wars that caused the prices of things to increase. And then you also had the like there was a plastic tax, the oil tax, the wars, the pandemics, and then inflation. And then I'm like, oh gosh, they've actually gone cheaper. They're actually cheaper than they used to be for some of these things. When it comes to the same model as well, a lot of things, not all the things are cheaper. Like if you look at the metal models now, a lot of them are really overpriced. Some of them aren't that bad, like the individual like Empire Captains, which are like £8.50 or something. They're not the worst. Hi, Night Parade. Although the resin stuff is great, I've seen the older resin stuff and nothing on them was that well defined. Also, paint job on the models doing lifting. Are you sure? But back then, the resin stuff was the only way to have like a really good high detail model. Although the resin stuff warped a hell of a lot. Even now you still get the same issue, but back then it was even worse. Like this dragon, like back then, getting this much detail in a model on the wings was absolutely insane, and all the scales. The turret plate often doesn't get completely filled on the right side. The same goes for the Land Raiders and the Rhinos and stuff. If you do want to change stuff, with resin it's really easy to change. All you need to do is get warm, well, hot water preferably, or a hairdryer, and you can bend the shapes. The only exception is stuff like, if you look at that really messy globule of green stuff. I've never quite finished this model. I think the only part where I actually finished doing stuff was on the tip of its tongue where it broke. But yeah, this model was heavily warped. And like, it's so warped that these two bits wouldn't join and I had to remold it. But because it's so thick, there's no like rebending it into shape. But yeah, the detail on these models were absolutely insane. I mean, for super old resin stuff, it might not be that good, but it's like, this is a very old, this is back from when Old World was still a thing. Not Old World, Fantasy, sorry. It's a really incredibly detailed model. It's beautiful. It's just a horrible thing of... And the other issue is with how heavy the parts are for resin, it does not stay together. What I need to do is I need to file down all the... It doesn't help I accidentally threw this across my room. And like all the pieces came undone. But yeah, I need to file down all the resin areas and put down, not resin, green stuff areas, put down new green stuff, and then sculpt with that green stuff and smooth it out. I only got to the point of putting it together, and then I never got around to building it. To be fair, I might have been seeing not old resin but ancient resin. Yeah, maybe. I've still got one really old model that I've not built, a resin one. I think it was like from some games day. Where is it? It's in here somewhere. No, no, no. Here it is. It's from a games day. Event only skin wolf. I've never actually opened it either. What does it have a year on first? (2011). Oh my gosh, yeah, it's ancient. I never really had a proper Chaos Army to put the Skin Wolf into. And then when I did, I think I forgot I had a Skin Wolf. It's only when going for a lot of my old Warhammer stuff that I found it again. I green stuff everything. All I've ever done in resin is my 3 Cyclops demo vehicles. Ooh. I had quite a few resin models, one of which I'm really sad that I lost. It was my only model I actually won a painting competition for it. I can't remember which. It was a relatively decent one. But I was young enough where it was in the, what's it called? Category, the young category. So it was like, yeah. But it was, do you know Von Draken? Elisif von Draken. It was her and her Carmine Dragon, but I converted it. I actually had 2 because my first one had like issues with it and I complained and they sent me a second one. But yeah, the first one I converted into a zombie dragon with a vampire countess on it. And I used it as an ornament, and then my brother kept breaking it because she kept dusting it, and she kept breaking it. So I then put it in like a cupboard, and it was like for one model, I'm like, hey, don't give this away, don't throw it away. And then I'm trying to look for it, and I couldn't find it again. I was sad. Okay, but anyway, I wanted to do blacks now. So black here, black there, black there, black on his mask and his thing that is his little fuely thing. Black on his sunglasses. Oh yeah, and black there and black there. I think that's good enough. Yeah. Yeah, I really like this Garganta Fervor brown colour. Brown contrast. Do I have my Black Templar contrast? No, it's not here. I got another box of paints though. Where are they? Black Templar contrast. Yeah. I really like that Black Templar contrast. Yeah. I mean, I think some of the Titan models, they're not the most detailed, to be honest. If you look inside the Titan models, then they are. But I can't say that Forge Road... Actually, no, there's a few things about Forge Road resin of why I would suggest to someone to buy official resin models and not knockoffs or doing recasts. It's a safer resin. It's still dangerous to use and like file down, but it's not as bad as a lot of resins out there. For some resins, especially these other ones, that are incredibly incredibly bad. Well, some of them are going to be incredibly brittle, which Games Workshop resin isn't. It's quite soft, and that's why it warps so much, but why it's also so easy to warp it back. And it makes it a bit more durable. Like, I accidentally threw a resin model across the room. It didn't break. All the parts that broke on it were just parts that was joined together by super glue or green stuff. Well, the other thing is a lot of these recast ones will be incredibly toxic. They might not be cured properly. They probably are going to be. And you can always fix it if it's not cured properly. But some of them, some resins are a lot more dangerous than others. So it's, you're effectively playing a premium to basically say, hey, this resin is safe to use. I still think they're kind of over. It depends. Some of the resin models aren't that expensive for what they are. Some of them are incredibly expensive for what they are. I think it depends. I think those that they generally don't expect to sell much of them. It's the ones where they are more overpriced. Or maybe even ones that are also, they sell a lot of it, but they can't print that many of them off. Or they can't make that many of them, so they purposely up the price to reduce how much they actually have to produce. My oldest single metal Mardian Trooper from 1995, followed by Axe Commissar from 96. I have some really old models. I don't know if any of them are that old. Actually, no, some of the old world models we've got are technically that old. But Tony and for Merit are, they weren't printed back then, or, you know, molded back then. But that's when they were designed and originally sold. And honestly, I absolutely love them. But yeah, the metal models from back then were not exactly very well made or detailed. And some of them were even quite expensive for the time period. Of when they first came out. Oh, that lever should be red. Every lever should be red. Because that's a go faster. I wonder what this panel on the side of the Battle Fortress does. I imagine it's a limiter panel. And this is how they stop the Battle Fortress going too fast. Or something. Or, you know, being too strong. In fact, the enemy shoots it thinking it's like something important. And it's like, it is important. Now it's got to be speeding around. A big red lever. A big red lever. Pull the lever, Crunk. Wrong lever. Oh, I loved Emperor's New Groove. And Emperor's New School. I was like, man, that was a jam. I kind of want to watch it again. I did watch the Emperor's New Groove film relatively recently. I was like, you know, it still holds up. It's still decent. There's nothing wrong with this film. Oh, what kind? It's like there's certain shows I can't really watch anymore. I loved them when I was a kid or a teen or whatever. But nowadays I'm like, yeah, no. I can't really watch the old Teen Titans anymore. I think if I got through to the later seasons where it had a higher budget and stuff, it would be better. But for early season, it's, oh my gosh. You can tell they're basically working with no budget. And I watched Batman, you know, the animated series, I say relatively recently. It was a while ago now. But I was like, oh my gosh, this is better than I remember it being. And I remember loving it as a kid. I think I watched it again because I was looking at IMDb ratings for TV shows and stuff. And I just saw Batman the animated series at the very top. I'm like, what the heck? Because why is it at the top? And then I watched it again. I'm like, yep, okay, this belongs at the top. This belongs at the top. My first experience, I think, of Batman was, do you know the Batman film with Mr. Freeze in it? Not the one with Arnold, but the animated series one. That was like my first introduction to Batman. And just comic books and, you know, that entire thing in general. I think if I had originally... Sorry if this thing got caught in my gloss, I need to make sure it wasn't broken. If I had originally not seen that, I might be a very different person. But I did see it and I loved it. Oh, I cried so much when I was a kid watching that. And it got me into Batman the animated series, and from there I got into like all sorts of stuff. When he hit, your introduction was when he hit your car, cousin with his bat car. Batman would never do that unless your cousin was a criminal. Where do you keep getting all these cousins? The cousin dimension. The cousin was littering, but it was a bit excessive. If you ask me, now I deserved it. He's a rat. His family breeds like, well, rats. I mean, true. My mother's making roast beef. But she asked for some beef, apparently, from the butchers. Enough for 2 people. And he gave her just this massive amount of beef. And it's like, what? I was like, do you mean 2 people for the entire week? My eyes are portals to the cousin dimension. Oh, my eyes are portals to the punch dimension. No, they're not. My arcs must come from the Romanian dimension. Talan was meant to make that joke, you know.
You could walk around the world on the backs of Tulan's cousins and, not only would your feet not get wet, you'd drown many a rat.
But you have to be careful because of how many cars they get hit by. My intro to Batman was the reruns of the old Adam West show. The second was the Tim Burton films. The tone shift between them was massive. I was never a fan of the Tim Burton films, if I remember correctly. Poison Ivy absolutely creeped me out, though. That's all I really remember about the Tim Burton films. I think it's Poison Ivy. Was the Tim Burton film, or was that one of the different ones? Was that the infamous Batman film that no one talks about? Rats are very buoyant. They probably are. Yeah. I like Black Templar contrast because it's not too dark. But it does still like paint all your highlighted areas a bit too dark, where you can't really tell highlighted from non-highlighted. Oh my gosh. Poison Ivy wasn't in for Tim Burton. He was in for Joker, Penguin, and Catwoman. He was Joker, Penguin, and Catwoman. Oh yeah, the Penguin one was scary. Because he's the one where he's got a great big nose and stuff, isn't it? Your biggest worry will be the magnet you created that exclusively attracts vehicles. Oh no. Don't worry, I've got my, what is it called? Vehicle repellent spray. I'm trying to remember my first Batman movie. I think it was the Mr. Freeze and Poison. Internet. There we go. Reload the stream. But yeah. But yeah, what was I saying? Danny DeVito, wasn't he in Matilda? I almost said Miranda. Matilda or something like that. Like, didn't he play like a lot of really bad characters and stuff that were kind of scary? And apparently he's just a sweetheart in real life, apparently. You ever watch Gotham? No, I think I saw a bit of it. My father did like Gotham, or at least he watched like a few episodes of it, but my mother didn't like it. My mother's not a big fan of Batman. Oh no. Have you ever watched Grimm? The TV series, which is about a detective who can see monsters in, is it Portland? But anyway, in that show, there's a character named Wu. His Detective Wu, I think it is. And it's pretty cool. Well, the actor for him is in, I think, do you know the Bane film of the Dark Knight trilogy? I think he's in that with a relatively small part where he plays a police officer. And I think he either goes into the sewers or helps people out of the sewers or something like that. I remember watching that with my mother and my father and stuff. And we're like, oh my gosh, it's that Wu. And my mother's like, I don't know. It's like, it's Wu from Grimm, I think. And she's like, who from Grimm? I don't know who you were talking about from Grimm. And she's just, oh, and I'm trying to explain it's Wu. But it's like, do you know in a cartoon where you just got like, because the name sounds like who? And she's like, she's getting really irritated not knowing who we're talking about. It's very difficult trying to, you know, explain it's a person named Wu. Oh, it's a real life just, oh, it's so silly. Who are you talking about? Wu. I don't know who. Just Google it. I'm like, wait, it's who? It's Wu. I know who it is. It's, oh, it's so stupid. But it was kind of funny at the same time. Oh gosh, I'm definitely going to need to get a proper non-contrast black to do this properly. And a smaller brush.
Who is Wu? That is Wu. No, I am me. But who is Wu? I am me, you are you, and that is Wu.
Oh, that's like Rush Hour films, yeah. Who are you? I'm you. Was he named you or was he named me? Oh, then you got the Pink Panther film where it's like, oh, it's you. Gets shot in the head. It's like, the last thing he said is, oh, it's you. It's like, fetch me everyone in Paris named you. Like, we found this one old Chinese woman. And then she helped him crack the case. Oh, I love those old films, those Pink Panthers. Oh, I say old films, but really isn't Pink Panther like an old cartoon? But it's really, it feels like, you know, the people who made it were, I don't know, for smoking something sometimes with watching them. It's like, do you know when you get some of these TV shows where it's like they enter like a psychedelic world? That's what sometimes the old Pink Panthers feel like when I'm watching them. It's like, they're fun, mind you. A lot of the old Pink Panthers are fun with Detective Clouseau. And isn't there like a series of films as well? Like, oh, really old films? That, yeah, I've watched one of the really old films. And it was actually surprisingly good for its age. Yeah, for Pete to... Was it... Oh, did the cartoon come second then? I guess it did if it was a spin-off. Oh gosh, I painted the top of his head black. I didn't realise that it was meant to be green. I thought that was part of a helmet. Of a mask, sorry. Oh, I can go back over it. I think I want his shoes painted black. Yeah. Who's a French actor who was the sidekick of Clouseau in the newer films that are still kind of old? I really like him. He's a really fun actor. Really loved a lot of the stuff he's been in before. Well, not all the stuff, but I like some of the stuff he's been in. Some more questionable things as well. Oh, he was in Godzilla as well, I think. And he was in Da Vinci Code. He's always fun. I say fun, he's always a good actor. A highlight of the films for me when he appears in. If I remember correctly, the films had an animated title screen for Pink Panther the cartoon. Yeah, you are remembering correctly. And the old films as well were, I think, comedies, if I can remember it. I've only saw one of them, I believe. But it kind of, or did I see more than one? I think the first one kind of skated the edge of, you know, being a comedy while also being kind of serious at the same time. I might be misremembering though. Okay, this is... I might have to change my brush for the... Yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to change to a much smaller brush to paint these grots. How are these glasses staying on your head? Oh my gosh. They're not proper glasses. They're strapped to your head. I never realised. His sunglasses aren't sunglasses. They're safety... I'm gonna paint for my sunglasses because I think it looks cool with sunglasses. I'm gonna have to change the brush if I want to get them painted properly. I'll just get to painting this area. Yeah. A lot of very cool actors out there, very good actors. Oh yeah, we're talking about Batman films. Have you watched the Batman Dark Knight Rises films relatively recently?
Discobo got the coolest shades, and the grot on the model has got a decent bed too.
The grot on the model is a decent pair too. Oh, my shades! I forgot about that. My glasses. Yeah, there's yeah, for Dark Knight Rises films, I was never a big fan of the Bane film. I forget which one that was. There's a lot of it I really like, but overall, I think there's quite a few things I don't really like about it. The film... Well, I used to love, you know, the Heath Ledger Joker film. But I'm rewatching it. I don't know. It's still good. It's just not as good as I remember it being. Like, the nostalgia glasses of it was... got a bit in the way. I feel like it would have been a stronger film if it didn't try doing Two-Face in it. Like, it would have been really fun if they had Harvey Dent, and maybe he, like, at the end, and then the third film would have focused on Harvey Dent and Two-Face. But then it wouldn't have come full circle as much. I think the first film holds up a lot better though. The newest Batman film though, that one's really good. Not quite perfect, but doesn't need to be perfect. I'm still wondering, do you think they're going to do a Batman film for the DCU? Because I know that they want to keep the current Batman film as its own separate canon from Superman and stuff. So I'm wondering if they're going to make like a new Batman to go with the new Superman films. I like the Dark Knight films, but after watching Robert Pattinson film, it feels like they are missing the detective side of Batman and concentrate too much on the fighting. Yeah! That's still the best performance Joker, I think, although I think the kid who did the young Joker in Gotham also does a very good job of the same style. Yeah, I think Heath Ledger definitely did a very good job as the Joker, but I think sometimes the writing lets him down a little bit. It's not just the writing, I think it's like the story itself as a whole. That being said, on rewatch, I did gain a greater understanding of the film and what it was trying to, you know, say and do, and of the Joker himself, much more than I did when I was a kid. And I really like that, but I think it also contradicts itself a little bit in the film, mostly thanks to the Two-Face angle it decides to add in. Well, that's why I think like it takes away from the film more than anything else with Two-Face. I think having Harvey Dent is good. To some extent. I kind of want to see what Mark Hamill would be like playing the Joker, like in live action. Well, because he's done the voice of the Joker for years. I think we might be past the point of Mark Hamill being able to play the Joker in live action. They're going to have two Batmans. One is the main continuity with Superman, and the Patterson one will be what DC calling the Elseworld story. Yeah. For Joker films, I really don't like. I've not watched a second Joker film. But the first Joker film, I really don't like. I think partly because I can kind of see myself, like, when I was, like, an angsty teen and stuff, seeing the Joker film and being like, I relate too well with this character without necessarily seeing the dark side of him. Or, like, what makes it bad. So it's a very weird reason I have for disliking it, but still, I'm not a big fan of Joker films. The Oofacide Squad. Oof. I actually kind of liked the first film. With Will Smith and stuff. The second film was okay, but I didn't like how Deadpool-y it felt in a way, you know? With the over-the-top gore and stuff that didn't make any sense. I'm really not a big fan of over-the-top gore though. It always ruins in the film for me. I don't find it funny. I think the Joker should have never been seen as a sympathetic character. He's closer to a monster in the horror story, yeah. I've never really liked any stories that explored the where did the Joker come from? Like, who is he? I think there's a kind of thing there where it's like just finding out the Joker's just a normal person, really. I don't mind that stuff in the story. But I don't really like origin stories of the Joker, because I think it just takes away from who the Joker is and his character. Whereas just like finding out the Joker was kind of a normal person, like where you've already seen the Joker be as bad as he is. And he can just like kind of flick this switch. Because I think that adds to the entire psycho angle of him. Of if he wants to be just a normal person, he can be. And that's also kind of what makes him really hard to like locate otherwise. There's a lot of different ways to write for Joker. And there's been so many different interpretations of him in the comics that pretty much nothing you can do. Like even the Beeper Side Squad and everyone complaining about that Joker, it's like, yeah, he's still based on one of the comic Jokers. He still feels like who the Joker has been in various comics. He's just not the TV show or Heath Ledger Joker. I think that's what makes the TV show and Heath Ledger Joker so good. With these kind of... they don't feel like real people, real things. He has multiple origin stories, mainly because of his insanity. He cannot really remember which... I don't think he even cares which one's the real one. For me, I also struggled finding, like, what's the point of a Joker film? Like, what's it actually trying to say here? And I know one of the big points is you're not meant to know what's real and what isn't, like what's in his head and stuff. But... kind of made me think. I think what makes the Joker fun, though, is what makes it like the Heath Ledger Joker and the animated series Joker, is that as insane as he seems, he's not really that insane. He's very aware of what he's doing. He's sadistic, he's manipulative. He has a grand, as much as he might say he has no plan and is an agent of chaos, he has a plan, and it's very detailed. And there's a lot of fail-safes involved in it as well. But he's also very good at playing off the cuff. He's not some... and it's like, yeah, he is kind of crazy in a way, and comes off like that, but how crazy really is he? How much of it's an act? And that's something we didn't really... and that's something, you know, I didn't really like about the Joker film Joker. He just wasn't like that. Joker is Cinch goofiest soldier fighting his hardest battles against the Batman, against what's his name? Carvax or Carvus. But I think that's what makes like the Joker such a scary and good character in a lot of things we see him in, is he always, you don't know what he's going to do next, but you know it's going to be devastating and there's not going to be a lot you can do to stop him. And he's going to be manipulating events and circumstances around him. I think that's something that's like very consistent amongst most Jokers. Like versions of the Jokers that we see. Like the animated TV series, he's a very manipulative person, always thinking ahead and stuff like that. The Heath Ledger Joker, exactly the same. Even the Beeper Side Squad's Joker was doing that. Even the more controversial Jokers, like the other ones where he's kind of in love with Batman. Even he is like, he's constantly like aware of everything. Like never mind how insane he appears. And he's like very self-assured. A Harlequin Joker as well from the animated series. It's very rare that we don't see this kind of self-assured, manipulative, capable thing, and it's just, you don't get that in the Joker film, and it doesn't feel like the Joker. Arthur Fleck is a broken person treated unfairly by an uncaring system will finally break. But I didn't even get that from him. Like, I kind of get a little bit of that, or like, that's how he sees himself. Like, that's definitely how he sees himself in the Joker film, the Arthur Fleck thing. But we also see that he's crazy, and he's an unreliable narrator, and his view on the world and everything around him is in itself not good. And he should have gotten help a lot earlier than he should have gotten help, and he didn't really get help. But nonetheless, it doesn't change the fact that he's kind of bad. Okay, what did I want to do? Oh yeah, I wanted to go over the areas where I kind of went out for lines, as it were. Because that's not going to do very well when I get a different contrast over them. Doesn't matter if it is a slightly lighter colour than what the base. But yeah. Yes. I mean, if you're going to have a film from the Joker's perspective, though, it should always be an unreliable narrator. I'm not going to complain about that. The Joker is like the definition of an unreliable narrator. But I think for Dark Knight Rises, is it for Dark Knight Rises? Whatever, for Heath Ledger Joker, he does the unreliable narrator really well, because he likes to speak, he likes to monologue, he likes to talk about stuff. He claims to be an agent of chaos and not have a plan, but he very clearly does have a plan. He gives multiple stories about where he got his scars from. And he says he doesn't care about the money, yet we see him keeping money aside for himself. Everything he says is effectively a lie, whether it's to a friend, to Batman, to himself even. You missed half of it, you had to go with dinner. Oops. Yeah, maybe we got a bit off track with the Joker and stuff. But yeah. There we go. How is this going? Honestly, looking at the camera is sometimes really useful because it just shows like the contrast between the different colours a lot better than I can actually see in real life. So sometimes a slight detail that's easy to miss in real life, as soon as it's on the camera, it's like this glowing issue, very clear issue. I can get very tunnel visioned. Like my eyes just zoom in onto something. There we go. That looks... Oh gosh, gotta be careful. I felt some of it giving way then. As I'm trying to move my hands around how I'm holding it. Okay, this is meant to be how it was originally painted, so I imagine the Mechanicum people who made this knight probably painted it pretty well. So I can't be going outside the lines, as it were. You know when you see all of these golden things, do you think it's like golden, they got golden leaf on it? Or do you think they actually have like proper layers of gold, like thick layers? Or do you think it's just like a golden paint? Is the Battle Fortress going good, boss? It's going okay. It's still a mess at the moment because all we're doing is the base colours. I say base colours. For block colours, we're not really done any details or highlighting of anything other than the initial dry brush on it. And down here is where I did some washes on it. I don't care about it looking too messy at the moment. As I get more and more block colours on, it should look less and less messy. And then where the greatest messes are, we can clean up in the final processes. You think that's one of the things that make like knights and stuff and marine armor so expensive, just because they got these thick layers of gold on them? Oh gosh, it's really hard getting into certain areas of this model. At least those areas you're not going to see very much of, so it's fine, or should be, hopefully. The night houses, I've definitely alloys gold into their armor. The region of space they are in is rich in precious metals. The gilded glory of the Omnisire is there by for a reason. Ooh. I imagine stuff like gold isn't going to be particularly expensive in 40k though. Simply because gold is not that uncommon amongst... It's a very unreactive metal. So you're generally guaranteed... While there's not a hell of a lot to it that was got made because of, you know, how difficult it was to make gold. I say difficult. How unlikely gold is to appear naturally in places. The fact of the matter is because it's so unreactive, compared to other metals and resources where you have to do like an entire process to make them usable, you don't have to do that with gold. You can just mine it out of the ground, take out the dirt, and there you do, you've got some gold. You can take it out of asteroids, you can take out of all sorts of stuff, and the amount of uses we have for gold is relatively low. It's one of the reasons why gold ended up becoming, you know, relatively cheap after a while. Because they just didn't really have... I say relatively cheap. There is still some uses of it now. Especially in chemistry and stuff like that. Okay, I'm just trying to tell which part... No, maybe... Okay, I think I was right. It's not part of this head, it's his helmet. I just noticed there's some rivets at the top of it, so that is part of his helmet. Okay. Gonna have to go back over that. You couldn't get your hands on a Neurolictor, so I might need to change a tournament list. Ooh. Neurolictors are a bit expensive, so I imagine you could fit something else into there pretty well. Yeah, for time period, gold actually wasn't that stable in price. Oh, it kind of was. It was just stably going kind of down. Because if you go back like far enough, I say far enough, if you go back to like the 50s or something and look at the value of gold and account for inflation, I think like it wasn't keeping up with inflation for a long time. And it's partly because, you know, we moved away from using gold as a standard for our currency and stuff. And then, you know, the dollar ended up becoming a thing people balanced against their currencies. Then you had like various countries selling off their gold reserves, and it all caused it to go down in price. Gold now, though, is really good to invest into, and it's rising in price. And that's in part because of, you know, all the issues that we've got right now and the devaluation of the dollar, which has caused a lot of places, even countries, to buy up lots of gold to effectively, in case they need to go back to a gold standard. It's good at conducting electricity, but so are lots of metals. You don't really need gold conductors. Yeah, if you look at like the historical prices of gold and compare it to inflation, it's actually kind of interesting. And then you can look at like political events that cause massive drops in prices or sudden increases. But yeah, gold's relatively good conductor. Gold is also used in chemistry quite a bit, because of, well, it's not too reactive. It reacts specifically with certain materials and create. And I think it's used in some catalyst. I'm not too sure. I'm not a chemistry person. I definitely know some chemists who use gold. Hi Mal, how you doing? But gold is a good conductor, but it's not like so amazing. The crazy thing is, even in the Warhammer universe, if you got reliable space travel, resources outside of organic resources, you eat pee, but how are you? Get some sleep. I'm okay-ish. Even like organic resource, well, except organic resources, you shouldn't really be having a difficulty with them. Because it's like water. There's many asteroids filled with water. If you want to get hold of lots and lots of water. There's many planets completely filled with water. And there's like ice asteroids and stuff. It's like, but it's definitely not one of the things where it's like you should be needing it and like coming to Earth for water. When it comes to iron, well, there's entire planets whose surface is basically made up of iron. It's quite a common resource, like across a lot of planets, from what we can tell. Not the most common, but it's pretty much any sort of resource you need. There's going to be something out there with lots of it. On top of that, once you can do fusion reactions, one of our limited resources at the moment is helium. And if you can do fusion, you can get helium. It's like all helium effectively comes from some sort of ancient fusion reaction. Or do like massive amounts of radiation. And helium, one of the reasons helium is limited is because when it escapes into the atmosphere, it effectively just, because it's so light, it keeps just climbing higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. And it can like escape. And then you got the issue of it reacts to anything, trying to get it back out of whatever it's reacted with. Oh gosh, this is incredibly messy. Trying to paint over this blue. This is where it's like, I see sometimes people do these really complicated paint schemes. I'm like, how did you even do that? It's like, you got this tiny little detail that's super solid on the model. And it's like, that must be made out of multiple different layers as a result. And each time you painted over the exact same tiny piece. It is a big model. It's one we converted and made, like, oh, this is just bits of plasticard. It's made from like multiple different models put together. It's a very artsy way of making a model though. And it's one of the things I love about arts. I didn't get as much done as I wanted to. It's because I keep talking and keep getting distracted. And actively just distract myself. We got a bunch more blue done. We got some of the blacks done. We got a relative amount done. But it looks poop. It looks poop. Thank you, Mal. I hope you like it. I'm glad you like it, so I hope you like it. It's very artsy. We're very far away from paint, from like a finished product. Once all the base, we're gonna have so many painting streams next week, so I don't have to spend months painting this model. I'm hoping that I can... I'll try getting as much of the base colouring done. I'll work on it more tonight. If we can get all the base colours done, it'll be good. Oh yeah, I was trying to figure out like why is... when I first like researched into gold, this was years ago, it's for a story. I think I've mentioned it before. Or something I had to write. For 1950s, set in the 1950s mostly. And one of the main characters is like this demon. And you know, they're really old. So then I'm looking up like gold prices and stuff and how they changed. To see like, you know, how would this person be rich? And I realised that actually no, it made more sense for them to be poor than rich despite being like this immortal person. Because so much of what they have would have just devalued over time. And so much of what was considered valuable in the past is cheap now. Most of what was considered worthless in the past is expensive now. It just makes it very hard for this character to, you know, maintain any sort of wealth reliably. There's even a thing about her having like a bunch of paintings on this person who was like super good painter and everyone loved them. You know, hundreds of years ago. but now they're considered kind of cheap trash. I say cheap trash, they... Oh gosh, it broke off there. It's considered kind of cheap. Still expensive, but because they were so popular and the paintings were so prevalent, but they're not worth that much. But like, you could still sell them at most a few hundred, maybe a couple of grand. But it was probably a painting that would have cost you with inflation 10, 20 times that much. And then you got painters who were considered relatively worthless at the time, but that meant that they didn't have many paintings because they're considered worthless. How are you, Cupcon? I'm doing okay. My throat is still a bit scratchy and itchy, if you can't tell. Itchy and scratchy show. You sound a bit down. No, I'm not down. I'm just focused. I'm painting. I just have resting down voice. And my throat does hurt me a little bit right now, so that might be adding to it. There we go. Oh. Yeah, the stillness not cover it up very well, does it? I don't need to fully cover up the blue, just enough to be able to paint over with a yellowish colour without it looking too bad. Yeah, the issue with the brushes is it went into the metal part, and that's where, like, I can clean a brush, it's just when it goes into the metal part, that's when it basically kills your brushes, if you can't clean it out quickly enough. And the only way you can really clean under there is going to destroy the brush anyway. There we go. Okay. Closing that up for now. Oh gosh, where did... Oh, it's there. Good, good. Let's see. Bottom of this goes here. Oh, I think plastic glue should work here. Yeah, I'm glad you like it, TA. I like the little goblins in cages that come in for dwarf miner set. It's like, why? Why are these dwarves so mean to the little gobbos? No one knows. There we go. Okay. What do I need to get done now? Oh, that part wanted to be black underneath this gun. Which is, you know, where it's currently bony colour under the gun. Needs to be black. Oh gosh, it's just an incredibly daunting model to paint. That's the only thing about it. Okay, then we can do this red. Bow, 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 bow. That hurts my hand holding it like that. Well, we've got it. Yay! Okay. There we go. This goes here. Like what? This goes. A little lightning bolt. Like that. There's definitely going to be a lot of corrections having to be made in this model. Okay. There's one other part also needing to change. Oh, it's these ones. The little guns. Just need to go over the parts that weren't meant to be blue. Here we go. I think what will happen is, oh gosh, I just moved. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to go back over some areas with the finer brush, or like this finer brush, just to get the blue. Like there's just certain areas where it doesn't quite cover it. It's not quite properly covered in the blue. In the same way that there's certain areas that I have blue on that aren't meant to have blue on. But when I'm going over each area in a more exacting way, I'm just doing this now so that it's like when I want to come to do the base, their own base colours, I won't have to do the detailing again. I don't know, correct the undercoat. You're fine and dandy. I'm surprised about how good Talisaur Blue is, because I've only ever really used it for power swords before. And quite watered down too. So it's nice to see it just as its own colour. looking gawky. Yeet! No, it's Mark. We love Mark because Mark's cunning. Like a deaf school loot tourist. Yeah. Okay. Yep, there's some corrections still on here to make. I forgot about. There we go. Although I guess a battle wagon is more, you know, the domain of God, and Mark, you know, of it being very brutal. Big old big guns. I'm wondering if I should paint like other archy panels on these things. Like we stole that from the Bad Moons, clearly. I feel like we need to steal more stuff from other arcs. Because that's why the deaf schools have such a bad reputation for being looters. Because where other arcs loot from, you know, for bad guys, for enemies, Yumis and stuff like that. Deaf schools loot from everybody, often while they're still alive. You know, you go into a deaf school camp and find your wallet stolen, kind of thing. It's like going into any northern town or going to London as a tourist. Anything you own is basically forfeit, especially if it's blue. I'm allowed to make fun of Northern English towns because, you know, that's where I grew up. There we go. How is all of this looking then? It's like owning a bike in any British city. It's going to be stolen. And the police won't do anything about it. In fact, the police are likely the ones who stole your bike. Okay, look. We got a whole load of new police bikes. Oh gosh. There we go. I feel like I didn't get as much done as I would have liked to. What did we actually paint today? Okay, I painted that shieldy bit, that bit, the black parts of the model, the brown part, that blue part. Yeah, that wasn't a lot. As I said, this is like the most time-consuming process. But let's look at what's coming. If you're not liked the stream, like it, because you're big. Oh, next week, look, the new Cupcake. It's got no terrain in it. I hope it's cheap because it's got no terrain in it. Well, it only comes with 5 of these dudes. I was expecting it to be like 10 versus. I hope it's really cheap then. You get 10 models, some transfers and the rules. If this is like 130 quid, that's going to be insane. Okay, I mean, you get 2 drones, this little thing and that, but still. And I hope they're only like 25 quid if you're only going to get boxes of 5 of them. Is it me or do these look smaller than the current death suits, stealth suits? Doggo v Drone. 1 is the goodest of boys. Yeet. Oh, the Death Watch Kill Team's finally coming out. And so is the Canoptic, so I'm probably going to get that. Oh, and then Killzone 2 mode is getting its own release. Oh, officially licensed Chaos Baubles. Your Christmas tree topper. An Orky mug. What's that? Space Wolf scarf and a hat. Sister of... No, Inquisitor and Sisters of Battle scarf and a hat. Or then just a Warhammer in general. 40k in general. Stocking. Oh, and then... Is that a mouse pad? A really weird shaped mouse pad it looks like. And some socks. Yeah, it is a mouse pad. Gloomspike gets mouse pad. And then really big hoodies. White Dwarf, 50 years of Games Workshop. Oh my goodness. Wow. The Fall of Cadia. Battle. Archmagos by Guy Haley. Oh, that's a really cool book. That looks like a Christmas book. I hope they announce that 500 words rumoured to be true and the price of old boarding actions. 500 words rumour. Let lesser man fear me above. I want this book. Oh my gosh, that looks so cool. You have to be quick buying for books though, because they sell out so quickly. I am not Telfarius. I don't trust you, renegades. Twice Dead Omnibus. Oh, so there's a lot of cool stuff coming out next week, especially a lot of books. That's a cool graphic though. Beloved installment to the Eisenhower series by Dan Abnett returns. I'm not always a big fan of Dan Abnett's work. Sometimes I love him, sometimes I don't. I say love. It's like, I think like Dan Abnett to me is like Marvel, like the MCU. Where it's usually a good watch of a film or a good read of a book. But it's not like amazing. Very rarely it feels like something absolutely amazing, but also very rarely feels like it's something that's absolutely bad. That being said, modern Marvel is just have a few really bad. Actually, a lot of old Marvel is really bad too. Got more work done on my Cupcake Kill team. Almost done with the models, and just need to do the basis. Ooh, I still need to do the basis of my arc. But yeah, it looks cool stuff. We've been waiting for this to come out for ages, and these guys. I don't know what got them delayed so much. But yeah, I'm thinking of what's my Necron 2K Force? My Necron 1K Force has these guys in it. The Fractured Dynasty. It has Edaptec, the Scarab Lady, the Geomancer, the Plasmancer, the Scophic Lord, 2 squads of 10 warriors, 2 Cryptophiles, 3 destroyers. Actually, is there any point making it 2 squads? Oh yeah, because otherwise I won't be able to fit the points in. 2 Cryptophiles. Yeah, this doesn't have a Wild Warden in, just so I can fit in for Geomancer. Putting up for Doomstalk for Reanimator. My Kroot Tracker with Tri-Bow and Caster are looking good. Ooh. Put the pictures in the, what's it called, the Discord. So we can see them as well. Tech for 2k4s, I'm getting 2 of those box sets, 2 of these canoptic circles, to add in 2 squads of 5 macrosites, 2 squads of 2 tomb crawlers, 2 geomancers. Like, this is the kind of thing we've needed for a while for Necrons, for Cryptek armies. We still don't have like a Cryptek battle line unit, but these two...
Tech, the mistress of the Silver Swarm.
The mistress of the Silver Swarm. No, it's called the Scarab Lady because it's based on... If you've ever seen Owl House, there's a character named Ida, the Owl Lady. And that's kind of where I put the name from. So you got, what's it called? Imhotep the Stormlords become Edaptech the Scarab Lady. But yeah, it's got 6 of the Destroyer guys. And so basically what I'm thinking of is getting the current combat patrol for Necrons. So have a set, because I love Doomstalkers. You need the tripods. Have 10 more warriors for the Royal Warden to lead with a Plasmancer. Get the current kill team for Necrons and put the Technomancer in the Necron Warrior Squad. Then to give them like Feel No Pain and stuff. With Edap Tech there. Then you've got the Canoptic Macrosites of the Canoptic Tomb Crawlers. The issue is with the Tomb Crawlers is that the best being put... Oh no, they do have a movement. No, they only have a movement of 5 inches. This is the issue. They have a movement of 5 inches. So if you put them with the Canoptic Macrosites, they reduce its movement heavily, which isn't fun. Unless they specifically have a word that changes the movement speed to whatever unit they join. What's a Cryptophile's movement? 5 inches as well. Yeah, it's not great. Never looked at his stats. What does he do? Well, they're actually on the Warhammer website site. Faction pack. Necrons. I think we did look at his stats together at one point. Here you go, so it's loading. So macrosites, tomb crawlers, geomancer. He's basically got the same stats as your average Cryptek. Toughness 4 for 4 wounds, but he does have 8-inch movement. So he can be with the macrosites. He can join the macrosites. His Tremorglaive can shoot as either a melt-up, pretty decent melt-up weapon. Strength 8's not the best though. Or as a... It's also only damage 2, which isn't the greatest. But it can also shoot as a flamethrower, which I think is generally going to be better unless you're fighting vehicle or space marines. It's also... Tremorglaive's got kind of standard stats. But then he also only hits on 4s, which is kind of disappointing. But in your movement phase, you can select one model within 18 inches. One enemy unit, so within 18 inches. And it becomes pinned, so subtract 2 from its move and charge rolls. And while this model is within range of your objective marker, enemies cannot set up within 12 inches of it. So honestly... I don't really... Oh yeah, it gains Scout if it joins a macrosite. Honestly, it's not the best model. The main thing I think that's good about it is it has an 8-inch Scout if it joins a macrosite. It can move 8 inches. So it's a pretty mobile... But it doesn't have like the fly keyword like the Technomancer. It's decent in the fact it's basically just an immobile annoyance to your enemy. He can very quickly go in, get onto an objective marker, prevent you bringing in reserves from nearby. And then he can slow you down, just making it really difficult just to deal with him and his squad. The tomb crawlers, they're definitely... The fact that they only move 5 inches makes it annoying. They're good in warriors, but they're kind of sewed in a way that you expect to add them to the macrosites, and they just don't belong with the macrosites. Yeah, his rules are okay. He's a very good control model for limiting your opponent's stuff. I just don't think he's 75 points. And if you do put him into macrosites, they're pretty cheap. Actually, they are 85 points. So that's 160 points to get that scout on him as well, which I think is generally going to be best for that early denial. And for very quickly being able to target an enemy unit. To cripple them. And he can do it every single turn. He doesn't require to shoot at that unit or anything, so... And he's pretty good at, like, dealing with chaff units. Like, if you send, like, an infantry squad. Yeah, you can't just send a basic guardsman infantry squad to deal with them, because he will just burn it to pieces with that torment weapon. And equally, if you send something tougher to deal with him, he will be able to hit it quite badly. Or he'll be able to get some damage into it. So you effectively force your opponent to overcommit to get rid of him, or just completely ignore one objective. The macrosites themselves, if you go up to them, they are... Oh yeah, this is the other thing. They don't gain the scout keyword, so if you put them with the macrosites, they only move 5 inches, so remove your scout capability. They can't be added to the same unit that's crypto files in them. So it is hard trying to find a good place to put him in my army. To put them, sorry. But yeah, macrosites themselves, they are only toughness 3, but they have a 4+ armor save. A really good support unit. Because what do they do? They're not the best at dealing out damage, whether in melee or shooting. They can still deal with guardsmen and stuff, mind you. Well, actually, they don't get a lot of shots in, but in melee they would be able to deal with them. But with him, they don't really need that many shots, because he's got that torment. Hi, Alcazar, how you doing? Well, an enemy unit's within 3 inches of this. Oh yeah, this makes him even more annoying to get rid of. If you put him in the macrosites, he's going to be slowing down your charging movement, stopping you getting reserves in nearby, burning any units that come close, and will just be able to hit them anyway. And then, because he's in this unit, you subtract 1 from any of the hit rolls if they get within engagement range of you. So that makes it just even harder for them to get rid of you. Like, you finally get into melee with them, and it's like, oh yeah, you're at -1 to hit. And the other thing is, it's not -1 to hit them, it's anything else. So if you bring another unit to follow him in, they're very good at just, like, really screwing with the enemy. It's like, okay, do you know that block of 20 warriors that I feel no pain? Yeah, that block of warriors, now you're at -1 to hit. If you try meleeing them, because these guys are with them. At the start of a fight phase, select one friendly canoptic unit within 3 inches of a bearer's unit until the end of the movement phase. Improve the weapon skill characteristic of weapons equipped by models in that unit. Yeah, and it says canoptic unit, so that's like, it includes itself, but it pretty much includes any unit that has a canoptic model inside it, such as if you put your tomb crawlers in your warrior unit, it can now target that unit and give them +1 weapon skill. And that would affect all of your warriors as well. I think a 10 squad of flayed ones can work well with him. He can't join flayed ones though. I mean, yeah, he can be like next to the flayed ones. They can only join macrosites, immortals, and Necron warriors. Unless flayed ones have a rule that lets you join them. By the way, if anyone applies to ban buy peanuts in Alabama, you're going to have a hard time. A peanut truck was raided by over 100 squirrels and they stole the nuts. Oh no, the squirrel raids are occurring, just as the Simpsons predicted. Nano's projector, once per battle round when a friendly Necron unit is within 3 inches of a bearer, activates its reanimation protocols. The bearer can use this ability. If it does, that unit reanimates 1 additional wound. So it's very good to have, like, with other squads nearby. So I think, like, sitting him on a home objective isn't too bad. I'm thinking of maybe, like, putting my one of the tomb crawler squads inside the Necron warrior squad here with the Plasmancer. The cryptophiles, do they have a canoptic keyword? They do not have a canoptic keyword, and neither does the Technomancer. I might replace the cryptophiles then with the tomb crawlers, and then add in the...
I haven't checked my Nostradamus recently, but isn't the Squirrel Uprising one of the 7 seals of the apocalypse?
Oh no! Oh no, it is! Since he slows down enemies, the macrosites make you worse at attacking in near. The flayed ones have stealth and auto crits against below half wound enemies. Ooh. Not really seen the flayed ones before much. Toughness 4, below half strength. Okay, they always get a hot scores a critical hit. Okay, that's cool. And they have sustained hits. They have twin linked 4 attacks each. That's actually pretty good. The more dangerous than they are in the video game Mechanicus. They are very slow though. Stealth, infiltrators. What I'm thinking about is having one squad of macrosites with the reanimate, well, not the reanimator, with the Geomancer and my back line, you know, in like a home objective, and just deny reinforcements coming in on the home objective. And maybe if that can have the cryptophiles inside it. But that defies your enemies bringing in reinforcements and like really slows down the enemy's attempts to catch your home objective. Then the other one will just push in onto one of the main objectives. While, actually, no, I don't have the ability to deep strike 10 Necron warriors. My original list made use of a Night Scythe with its ability to invasion beam people down. I can't remember. There's no way I can just like give a squad deep strikers for. In this case, a planter's peanut truck broke down and the driver left the back of the truck open when he went to fix the truck. I was going to mem on the Mechanicus game version, but she beat me to it. Yeah, the Mechanicus game version of Flayed Ones suck. To be fair, that is kind of how Flayed Ones feel in lore. Of basically, they're like the zombies coming to attack you. You shoot them all down, but there's always more where they came from. 10 models is 40 attacks. They hit you on a 3+. They'll miss you with about 7 attacks. Then the... What's their normal roll to hit for Flayed Ones? Please, you can bring it up to 2s with macrosites. Macrosites can give them... oh no, you won't be able to
You say broke down. It was a coordinated operation, a planned generations in the making. Yes, it was the Grey Squirrel cult.
Yes, it is a Grey Squirrel cult. It's going to destroy us. Have you not seen Rick and Morty? Of intelligent. Oh yeah, you can't give these guys a canoptic keyword, can you? I'm gonna have to think about this. Maybe I won't buy the Battle Force because it's for combat patrol. Because it's not a very good combat patrol in terms of savings. Oh. So maybe, oh yeah, and it would give me another Lord that I don't need. Yeah, maybe I won't get the combat patrol. Because if we look, I'm just going to be like, click here. It takes, my internet is super fast. Look how fast my internet is. Yeek. Warhammer 40k Xenos. Necrons. Like this is £105. You get 10 warriors, 3 destroyers, a lord. They come with the warriors. And you get one of them. Let's look at how much that is. Where are they? Warriors are down here, £32.50 at the moment. I do like the look of a Psychomancer, very insane. So £32.50 plus, let's ignore him because I don't actually want him. Where's the other unit? Where are they? This thing, that's £75. Plus these guys, that's £115. So that saves you a tenner if you don't want the Lord. And it's like, do I really need these 3 dudes back here? 3 more destroyers? Maybe not. Because I don't feel like destroyers go too well with my entire canoptic army idea. So I'm also wondering about even getting this box. Where are they? This one, the Hinoptic Circle. Because I do kind of want to get the Technomancer. This dude. Who can apparently be used as a Necron Lord if you want to as well. But I don't really care about the Immortals of a Deathstalkers or whatever they're called. Like, how much is he by himself? £25 for Technomancer. Yeah, he saves 12 quid. Clearly you need the Flying Croissant. I do like the Flying Croissant. Although, Necrons are one of a few factions where, you know, taking flying units is actually seen as a good thing. Like, if we go back to the Necrons... Because your Flying Croissant is 145 points for a Night Cypher transport variant. This isn't what was considered a very good thing for the Necrons. You get, you know what, we'll just click on it properly. Doom Scythe for Night Scythe. For the Night Scythe, you get Toughness 9, 12 wounds, 3 plus armor save. So it isn't the toughest of things, but it has a no invulnerable save either. But it can transport 1 Necron's infantry unit. So that can be of any size. There's no limit to how big that unit can be. Just as long as it's Necron and it's infantry. It does have a kind of okay shooting stat, but that's not that great for 145 points. What makes it kind of strong is it can be set up in your first, second or third movement phase regardless of mission rules. And at the start of a fight phase, if there are no models currently embarked in this transport, you can select one friendly's infantry model wholly within 6 inches of it, unless they're within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units. they can embark with them for transport. And that's pretty cool. You can basically shoot, bring them back on, move them elsewhere, shoot with them. That makes it okay. It's not amazing, but it's okay. It's not exactly going to hold you back a lot. If you go for Doomsday for 230 points, what makes that really cool is, just give me a moment, yep, that's good. Is this heavy death ray is absolutely insane. Especially with this rule, effectively, whatever it targets with a heavy death ray, with how expensive the figures are, I can say certainly your hobby is more expensive than playing musical instruments. And I go for about £36 in strings every month. But one thing about Warhammer is if you're not like me and you just collect for one army, effectively, once you've made an investment into that army, you're probably not spending much money every month after that unless you want to expand your army. But it's like for a single 1,000 points, it's like for a normal person who doesn't have a lot of time for a hobby, you're probably only going to be spending like £100 a year. Maybe £200 at most. Like I know a lot of people who wouldn't really spend much more money than that. Especially just because of how little time they have to build and paint models. But yeah, if you shoot somebody and it stands firm while resolving attacks against that unit, this phase, a successful unmodified hit of a 5 gets a crit roll. And considering they have sustained hits D3 with a strength 16, AP -4, damage D6 +1 model, and it gets 3 attacks, that's something you don't really want to do. But if you don't stand firm, then you're going to be at -1 to hit for your next turn. And that's just a really cool rule. And it might be 230 points, but it can hit so hard into the enemy, it's not actually... It's got a good chance of actually making up its points if it's against the correct enemy, such as the Imperial Knights or something with heavy vehicles. It can quite easily make its points back. That being said, it's not the toughest thing, so it could be knocked out of the sky pretty quickly. But again, it starts in flying, so it starts off the board. And you can just bring it on, do a single shooting of it, and it could very quickly make its points back. Oh. It's still not going to be amazing, mind you, but it is one of those things where it can be worthwhile in the correct list and against the correct enemies. But yeah, I'm going to have to think more about what I actually want for my next ones. I'm only going to get one of the Canoptic Circles at the moment, the new thing, sorry, whatever this is. Yeah, Canoptic Circle. But I might eventually expand it into 2,000 points. Oh, the Death Watch kill team looks so cool though. I like how it says optional assembly, where you can actually mix and match these, you know, equipment on them quite easily. So you can have this guy with his big old heavy bolter and give that guy a thunder hammer. And give him, well, a power sword if you wanted to. You can, yeah, mix and match them a lot more than what it says there. It's nice. But anyway, we've been going for a while. And so this is how it currently looks. It's a bit of a mess still, but I'm gonna work. I'll work on it more tonight, trying to get it, you know. I want to try getting all the base colours done before the end of the week. And then once they're done, all we need to really be doing is just working on highlights and details and washes and stuff on this, which should be a lot quicker. But as always, the base colours take forever to do. Bit of a mess. Bit orky, I mean. No, I mean it's a bit of a mess with the colours. It doesn't look good yet in terms of painting, at least. I'm not happy with it. This yellow though, oh my goodness, trying to get a good yellow is really difficult. Without, you know, going so thick into layers, it looks stupid. I hope you find a perfect piece for your army. I gotta go work. Bye. Bye-bye, Alcazar. I hope you have a good rest of your day. And goodbye, everybody else. Big hearts to you all. I hope you have a good rest of your day. That you work hard and play harder. I'm going to get a schedule up tonight. Oh, that's what I can't work on this. I need to get the rest of my thumbnails made. I didn't get them all done before the stream today. But yeah. So next week, a lot of painting's going to be done next week. Got to get the schedule up tonight. And I hope you work hard, play harder. Remember to take care of yourself and be kind to others. And vice versa. And remember to what else is it? Eat good food, sleep well, dream of cupcakes, but don't eat cupcakes. We're friends, not food. Nom 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 nom. Bye bye, everybody. Love you all. Whee! Oh gosh. Oh, my throat still hurts.